Hello everybody, Bob Adams. Welcome to a presentation this evening on our Winning Investments LLC group and our Tier 3 group. For those of you who are joining us tonight, and I'll obviously be recorded and made available for everybody to participate at a later time, tonight is just an invitation to get a better understanding to what our groups are doing, the amount that we're putting together now in these new groups we're setting up, and a more detailed explanation of how Tier 3 is functioning. All right, first of all, for those of you who are not aware of what our groups are, we have an investment club program put together where we have agreements for partnerships that members join. They elect to participate in either Tier 1, which is just ordinary income being invested, which is taxable every year, Tier 2, which is retirement accounts, which is either non or deferred taxes, and these are all self-directed, and Tier 3, which is a separate entity from the other ones that are there, which is strictly disposable income, which is invested using the same strategies that we're currently using on our Tier 1 and Tier 2, but at a higher risk level. The purpose of Tier 3, now this is kind of interesting, the purpose of Tier 3 is to have some fun. Okay? I mean, Tier 1, Tier 2 is solid, it's going to invest, it's going to return, it's secure, it's doing extremely well, and it's very conservatively being managed. And I say conservative, but at the same time, for those of you who had looked at the reports, you'll see that our projected annual off of that is knocking out there at 50+%, which is amazing, and that is prior to the management fees being taken out. Now, in our new Winning Investments LLC, which is being built now, okay, this is the same thing that we have with our other ones that we have going, Platform 13, Victory Investment 2. It is Tier 1, Tier 2. This group is being formed to start on July 1st. Now, up to date, I currently have about 10 people in that group. Now, that's not a massive numbers. I can still handle a few more that are on there. The joining of those groups requires you to attend a meeting every quarter. So every 3 months, we get together. My job in your group is to make sure that we follow the rules and regulations established by the SEC so that an investment club can invest. Now, the key things are, as an investment club, your voice, your vote counts. Now, I sign on as a member of it, but I don't have any participating money in it. My job is strictly handling the details, all righty? I'm going to make sure that the meetings are held, that the voting is done, that the attendance records are done, that the money is deposited, that the money is moved, and I keep you acknowledged or educated as to what's going on. That is my job. Now, I also test constantly a series of investment options to figure out what's going to work best. Now, I don't select your investments. You select your investments. Currently, our group is working with Think Huge out of Australia. Think Huge has been around for 7 years. It is a licensed investment program functioning out of Australia. We elected to use them because historically, for the past 7 years, they've done remarkably well. Also, we have another affiliate in our group called Jason. His name's Jason Gospodarek. He's a doctor. He's been doing Forex exchanges for 10 years. He is also their educational administrator. He does a lot of webinars, seminars explaining how the Forex works. He is also part of what we're doing here. Now, right after we get this next group going, which is only a couple weeks away, you're going to see more and more from Jason. He is going to be running educational things exclusively for our groups to understand how the Forex works. Now, little side note, I know I had a conversation a little while ago before we started this particular webinar with John Asquith, who is working at a bank, and he just went through 6 hours or whatever it was learning about the Forex. The Forex is a fascinating field. It's not like the stock market. It's much, much bigger. It runs 5.5 days a week, and it is pretty much unregulated, and it can literally be a minefield to get out there and thinking that you're going to find some way of making it work. Well, I spent a lot of time researching, and Luckily, my relationship with Jason came to be, and we were able to tie ourselves into an organization that's working, that's got credibility, and has got a great record, which is why we presented Think Huge to the groups to say, here, this is the most viable option we have. As most of you know, in the past, Cool Trade was a great option. But for the past 9 months, it hasn't really done very well at all. And so far, I haven't been able to come up with a winning formula or seen one yet that is going to be able to beat what we're currently pulling off of our Forex work. The other thing about the Forex, guys, none of it is robotic. All of these are live traders. Now, currently, we only have 2 strategies we're utilizing. One is called Steady Capture, which is run by a guy by the name of Jay. If you go to the website, you'll see that I have an interview that Jason, Dr. Jason Gospodarek, did with Jay as he explained how Steady Capture works. Steady Capture is amazing. I mean, he does have a lot of activity, but he never has losses. It's just really, really freaking cool. The other one we had is another program we're running right now. It's called Revolution. It's doing okay. It's not one of our favorites. We did have another one called Gold Star. Nick came out and said, hey guys, based on the trends, we're going to take a great big dive, and Gold Star is not going to be worth it. I shared that video with you. It's on the website. And he took it off, and sure shooting. Right after that, it took a major dive. So, yeah, he's doing a good job monitoring these. And as I previously stated, he has 2 more that he's been vetting now for 18 months that we're going to be bringing on the table in the next 30 to 60 days. When those come on board, they're going to be offering us some great returns. I expect they're going to hang in there. I don't know how good they're going to be as far as comparing to Steady Capture, but they'll have quite a bit of volume things functioning inside of them, and that's what's important. So those new traders will be coming on board within another, like I say, 60 days, somewhere along that line. Now, like I said, also, Jason's going to be doing some more stuff, and I'm also going to be setting up some interviews with Nick, so you can get a feel about him, what he's doing, how all this functions. Why am I doing this? Okay, one more time. My job is to present to you. You as a group have options. Now, every quarter when we meet, you are required to either be there for the meeting or to listen to that meeting or see it as a webinar and acknowledge that you did attend that meeting and to vote. Every quarter, starting on July 1st, you're going to have an option of what you want to do. I'll bring some things up, throw them on the table, say, what do you think, guys? And then you guys vote. You determine what's going to happen. Okay? My job is just to present options to make sure that you're functioning in the way that the SEC wants you to function. So having said that, this new group that we're putting together, which is going to be starting here very, very shortly, Winning Investments LLC. The LLC has already been created. The operational or the organizational forms are already completed. So when you are ready to come participate in those RIM, I'm going to show you this. You go to the investment clubs and click on it. And there's a lot of verbiage here. I wanted to make sure everybody understood as much as you can about the partnerships, how they work. And it's quite lengthy. Okay, so you can go through all that if you have questions on it. Here is a link to Steady Capture. I want you to see this. You'll notice right here, see this little yellow versus the red. Okay, this is where some Forex or some currency was purchased. It went down in value. They held on to it. They held on to it. They held on to it. They sold it. Then you see from here on, there's no variable. There's none of this. This is why this particular one is doing extremely well, and it's only running at risk level 1. If you run at risk level 2, it's double that or even more. So this is a really great one that we've had. I'm very pleased with what it's doing and exceptional. Revolution, which is this one here, take a look at it. You're going to see a lot of variances. This is where they bought a bunch of inventory anticipating that something was going to happen, particularly in Europe, and it began to happen, and then it caught up with itself right there. So that's how they work. I mean, it's still a good profit. It's still working, but it's just not the same as Steady Capture. It's still worth playing with. I'm not willing to walk away from it, but that's what that one does. That's how that works. Okay, so back to what we're doing here. And if I click that and get out, it's going to get me all the way out. Hang on a second, guys. Back into our investment clubs. Down here at the bottom of the page, okay, here is your investment club application. Before you can join, you have to do this. We have a $3,000 origination fee. The purpose of that essentially is 10 years of your SimTrade Pro membership, because the contracts are 10 years. We're going to support this for 10 years. That's how this gets paid for. You fill that out. If you haven't already paid it, you pay that fee and it comes into us. That you can throw in the mail. That's not a problem. Winning Investments LLC. This is an agreement. You're going to click on that. It'll tell you where to sign. You're going to send the last page back to me. It's going to tell you where to wire your funds. That's there. Now, if you're already a member of the other two, you don't have to do that one or that one because you're already done. You're finished. Don't have to worry about that at all. But because Tier 3 is a completely different animal, we're not running it within the scope of the others or this new one that's being created. It is a separate partnership. Therefore, it requires a separate agreement. So what you're going to do is you're going to click that one and fill out the last page. Also on there, it's going to have the wiring directions of where to send the money. You're going to send, you can scan that and send it back to me. That's fine. I just got to get you into the system. Now, as I stated earlier, the deadline was the 15th of June. Now, for this one, it doesn't make any difference because we're not doing long-term investments. There are no retirement accounts in this particular fund we're playing with. So this can be wired to me at any time. The only thing I want you to understand is the 28th of June is it. So from this point on, do not mail me a check made out to either in Winning Investments LLC or to Tier 3. You will have to wire the money. Otherwise, we're not going to clear it in time for July 1st. Now, also, I mentioned earlier that we are changing our brokerage firms. We're moving from PAX Forex to another one called LMFX. Several reasons for that. Part of it is to make sure the legalities of what we're doing is uninterrupted. The other part of it is it moves under the domain of Think Huge, which is also an important factor for what we're accomplishing. So what you're going to see is at the end of this month, I'm going to close out all of our accounts. So whatever we got sitting in inventory, we're going to sell. We're going to draw the money out completely from PAX Forex. We're going to wire it over and put it into LMFX. So you're going to have a few days where there's going to be no activity simply because the money's been moved. Then it'll go right back to the same screen you're used to. All of that's going to be there. Just be aware. It's something that we're going to have to do. I don't have a choice on it. We've got to get that one done. So that's going to happen then. For those of you who are joining now under the Winning Investments LLC, not going to make a difference to you. Same thing with this Tier 3. It's all going to LMFX anyway, so that doesn't make any difference. All right, so just be aware that those are there. Now, one other item I want you guys to be aware. If you have not taken the time to listen to this particular interview that I did with Hal in regards to the tax advantages of Forex, please take the time. In previous times when we were playing with Cool Trade, we were dealing with stocks. And you remember the nightmare of the 1099Bs coming out of Apex, trying to figure all that out? Well, here's the cool part about what we're doing here. This is taxed differently. Because of the nature of it and because of the nature of our relationship as an entity, as an LLC, we get to have an advantage, which means the first 60% of the net gains that are coming off of this are taxed as long-term investments. So we get a reduced tax rate for that. The balance of it is going to be treated as short-term or ordinary income. But we do get a major advantage over it. Now, with Cool Trade, we couldn't do that. We were stuck with short-term investments. We had to pay the highest tax rate available on that. This is going to be much better and much more in our favor than we are at this point in time. All right, so for those of you who have already been part of Platform 13 or in Victory Investment 2, You don't have to do anything extra except complete out that particular Tier 3 agreement and wire your money. And you're done. That's it. We will have a meeting around the first part of July, which will be the one where we get things started. It's going to be right close to the end of the month, probably around the 29th, 28th, something along that line, where we will have a meeting. And this will be a combined meeting between Winning Investments and between the others that are out there too. Okay? All right, so that's what we have on this one, guys. That's about all I have to cover on this one. Like I said, it's going to be a short one for this particular presentation. For the most part, for those of you who have questions, if you have not sent in your application to participate, now's the time to do it. Alrighty, I need to have those to me shortly. You can send me, wire the money in, fax or sign and scan and send me the other documentations, and that'll be great. I got to have those things in here by the 28th. Alrighty? And one more time, if you have questions, for heaven's sakes, get a hold of me. Alright? I'll be available starting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. This evening, my wife and I have got something else planned, so I'm not going to be here. But we will be available starting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock my time. And on that note, I'm going to call it quits, guys. Thank you very much for being here. This is exciting stuff. This Tier 3 thing is going to be a lot of fun. I am just really delighted with how it looks. We've got a substantial amount of money already in it. We're probably going to have close to $250,000 in that particular one that we're going to play with. I don't know yet for sure. I have a lot of verbal commitments, but the deposits are showing right now about 185, something like that. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a really, really fun one. All right, and on that note, I'm going to call it good night, guys. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll talk to you later.